Arguably footy's best song, sung magnificently yesterday by the Tiger players after a stirring win. It's a shame you didn't see it on the Channel 7 telecast yesterday, but that's another story. A wonderful effort from the Tigers yesterday, Derm. It was
fantastic.
Their best win in how long?
Oh, who knows? But it's just fantastic to watch a young group of kids. You actually see them believing that they're starting to... Well, they're believing that they belong in this competition. It's great.
Yeah, best win since their first win this year. That was pretty euphoric, the way they went about it. But the thing you like about the Tigers on the weekend is they never gave up hope. And for a young emerging team, that's the first thing that you usually, or the last thing actually, you get. So for them to have that level of hope and passion and intensity against a team that is really difficult to not just to bridge but to get in front of in Sydney, that's one of their trademarks. I think was an outstanding performance and augurs well for the future for them.
Very rare you see Sydney give up a lead of any type of description, let alone 33 points. Their run home's not...
14 scoring shots behind at one stage.
Incredible. The run home's not too bad. Dare I say it, they're 3 games out of the 8. They're one of the informed teams in the competition, and 8th spot looks a bit iffy. They're too far back, no doubt about that. But they're going to get relative... They could win half those games, couldn't they?
Well, Collingwood and St Kilda should be losses, but the rest of them are up for grabs if they want to. They could have finished with 10 wins for the year and they could sneak in.
Seventh and 8th, sorry, Dermot, 7th and 8th are looking pretty dodgy at the moment. I mean, why couldn't they? Why couldn't they make the 8? I mean, there's as good a chance to make the 8 as Essendon, who are a game ahead.
They'd have to win 6 of 8,
who reckon they're not out of it.
Yeah. Because their best win was just a day or so ago, all right? The hardest time for kids to win, a young group to win, is between round 14 and round 20. And if you think they're going to storm home through that time, you're deluded.
I didn't think they win a game a month ago.
Great that they're doing it.
Everyone said the hardest time for kids to win is after the mid-season break, and that's why Melbourne lost and Richmond was going to struggle. Well, they didn't.
Oh, the difficulty was going to be is that if they win back-to-back a couple of times, now they've won, what, 3 or the last 4? Or
4 of the last 5, yep.
4 of the last 5. I mean, sides are going to start to prepare against them. Sides are going to put a lot more pressure on Jack Revolt up forward and probably strain their avenues to goal, and it's going to make it more difficult for them.
They have found a couple of kids. By the week, they step up. David Asprey had 21 possessions yesterday, played in the back half, has started his career as a forward and kicked a couple of goals on debut. Is there a bit to like about him, Tommy?
Yeah, I like his decision-making and the way he follows through with everything, and he's got a bright future. It's very difficult to be a new player in an emerging team. But it's also the best place to start. So he's going to be a part of their program for a long time.
But he's going to reflect the team, though. He's a good kid. He's talented. That one where he's on the wing and he gave the handball and shepherded. He got pushed aside after it. Now, it's going to be really tough for that young man to keep going through the next 2 months. Now, good on him. I hope he does well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and say these blokes are going to be stars straight up. And he said he's going to fatigue, like the team. Now, give them a big tick, and I'm a massive fan of what they've done. But let's not start saying push for the
there was
8.
a massive clear out last year. There'll be another massive one again this year. They won't trade away early draft picks.
Don't put too much expectation on this group now. Just love what they're doing and that's it.
Another one. You played with an Andrew Collins in your day at Hawthorn.
Yeah, little big man. Yeah, he was called Serious Tablets. What's this one like?
Well, this kid kicked 3 on the weekend for the 2nd week in a row, Andrew Collins, including... I thought you might have liked the fact that he went off and he came back on and kicked 2 after a heavy bump and his day could have been over.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. You saw some of that in the paper as well. And there's a beautiful story about Matty Lloyd ran into him once and said, hey, you kicked the ball pretty well down the park. And he said, oh, yeah. He said, who do you play for? And he said, oh, I've been on Richmond's list for 2 years. And Matthew Lloyd's follow-up to that was, oh, what's your name?
He's had to work pretty hard, and that was a great moment for all Tiger fans on the weekend when he kicked that goal. They've got a beauty in Dustin Martin. He deserves to be favourite. He should have been favourite for the Rising Star, but can't win.
Now, this kid is an absolute, for a 17, 18, he's a powerhouse.
You couldn't find anything to dislike.
No.
You couldn't find anything to dislike about him, Caroline, could you?
Well, it's a leading question. There's only one thing, and there's a lot of other players who have them. What about those tattoos? And on his neck, too. It's so disappointing.
Well, it works for him. What's you disappointed about?
Look, I think he's fantastic. He's a great player. He's not hurting anyone. He's not breaking any laws. If my son came home, I'd lock the door.
If he was Maori and he had him there, would you say anything?
Look, I don't like tattoos.
You lock the door?
No, I have told all of my children don't come home if they get tattoos.
Have you ever been tempted to have one yourself?
No, I think they're dreadful. Anyway, but that's his choice and that's fine. I told, who was that very nice young Melbourne player we had in the other day, Brent Maloney. You've seen his arm. It's Dane Swan revolting. They get addicted to it. It's a real problem. In fact,
How do you know?
if you want your
How do you know you're addicted to them?
Dane Swan told me, I interviewed him once, if you want your children to do well in life,
Don't get a tattoo.
get them to study tattoo removal because there's going to be a big
Didn't
business
realise
in
we're on
about
the
10 years.
set of The View tonight. Sorry about that.
But he's a great player and personal choice and all
Super
that.